All right, my little motherfuck faces. Validation Boy is back with another live stream. Today's date, April 23rd, 2018. And OJ McBaggin says that I have a chemtrail lung, and it might just be true. It might just be true. Jed Skeptic is recommending that I get Lanny from Canada as a guest. Well, I might. You never know. But probably not. Not today. But you know what, Lanny from Canada? I would like to have you as a guest. I would like to have you as a guest. Maybe next time. Maybe later tonight. I don't know. Tinfoil Hatter keeps talking about how he thought he would have met aliens by now, but didn't. But either way, let's do the first 5 in the live. In at number 1, Rob S. Oh yeah. In at number 2, OJ McBaggins. In at number 3, The Morgan Only. And in at number 4 would be Jed Skeptic Media. And in at number 5 is Tinfoil Hatter. Excellent group. Thank you guys so much for joining. Last week's episode was a career retrospective of Validation Boy. You know, a look back through the ages. A couple things I missed in there I didn't get to say, but too late now. Who cares? Went and looked at a Flat Earth Paradise. Man, I don't know where he gets these dumb broads, man. Every video there's like some dumb girl with him, some new dumb girl who's just sitting there buying into his crap. I don't know if they're like thinking that they're gonna hook up with the guy or he uses hypnotism on him or something. I don't know, dude. It's so cringy, bro. Where does he find these fucking stupid ass girls, bro? These dumb ass girls that fucking buy into all his crap, dude. You know, like look at Muff Muff. She totally buys into his crap. And fucking Lucy Lemons did. Got something to say about her in a minute. And it got Muff and Lucy, and he's got some nasty bitch I was talking about. Oh, and then now he's got some new girl. You know, she doesn't look like she's dirty or nasty or anything like the other ones did. But, you know, it's sad to see these, he's like tricked these young girls into coming to his house or something. He's got them there and he's talking about this dumb spiritual shit. He's just going in circles with the dumb shit that he says. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And then he always gets the girls to talk about the fucking divine mother goddess. I guess it's his way of getting into their divine mother goddess and shit. And I don't know. I guess it works for that guy. It's so cringy. I can't believe there's women out there that fall for a fucking cretin like that guy and shit, bro. And then every time they talk about the the divine, you know, GPV and shit, he closes his eyes and he takes deep breaths and shit. Like he's savoring the flavor of it or something. Oh man, oh god, bro. I can't believe what this world has come to. There's some fuck like that. And there's like people out there that actually buy. It can't be real. It can't be real. He must be paying these girls to act. Like he's giving them an acting gig and he's paying them money to pretend that they're doing this role with him. Because there's no fucking way, dude. There's no fucking way. But then again, we are talking about people who live out in the West. And some of them West Coast people, some of those fucking West Coast people. And I said, F you, Paradise, look at that fucking douche. And then Morgan only said, you mean herpes? He called himself Hermes and shit. Herpes, right? For real. Must be at this point. I mean, with all the fucking ragamatag fucking F-listers and shit that he's got running through his fucking nasty little fucking apartment or house. It looks like a fucking old woman's house with like purple and like leaves and shit. Like there's like wall trimmings with like vines and stuff and like either that or he rented out a room at Muff's house. I don't know, man. I don't know. Everyone's just chilling, getting along. Tinfoil, I really thought I would met some aliens by now. Imagine my embarrassment when for so many years I'd say, we'll see who has the last laugh. Oh, man. Tinfoil Hatter says, wouldn't you think, if anything, aliens, if they existed and were intelligent and high-tech savvy, be hip to the internet and therefore hip to the, coolest of the coolest? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I don't have anything flat earth to tell you guys, unearther. Fake staged Toronto bullshit. Did something happen in Toronto? I don't know. I'm just not, down with the news and shit. I'm not down with the news. Flat Earth Paradise. I can't even watch for a laugh. I know that's what Unearther says. I know it's brutal, man. It's brutal. But if you sit back and look at it for a second, I'm not subscribed, but I click in on that channel and I click in on Marmar Queen and I click in on Lucy Lemons and Sunny Peaches and who else? Paradise. Fucking I can't remember who else. There's just random channel, Carly Sunshine and shit. Random channels of like some of the silliest people out there. I just click on them every once in a while just to see what they're up to, so I can give you guys something funny to say. Lanny has plenty of gossip, VB. Lanny from Canada says that there's a van attack, 10 dead and 15 injured. Oh, another fucking Nice, France fucking roll through. Is that what they did? They tried to say there was another roll through? Wow. Jed says he hangs with all the busybodies. Well, okay. So in my rounds, okay, I went to, all right, this is something that's actually not really funny at all. It's why I'm kind of in a dark mood right now, in a little bit of a somber mood and shit. But, okay, so y'all know about Blood Over Intent, right? Blood Over Intent was started by a channel that no longer exists, but he exists under a different name now. His channel used to be called Quasi Luminous, and I'm sure everybody in here knows exactly who Quasi Luminous was. And Quasi Luminous used to talk about like the hollow earth, and the earth is flat, but it's a hollow earth, and at the center of the disc there's some kind of hole. But then he started saying that there's some kind of magic tree of life. And then, Paradise and Muff Muff, they all adopted this shit too. And then Lucy Lemons, she took it to heart, apparently, Watching from afar, I've seen these things develop and shit. Just, on journalistic interest and shit, I guess, if you will, just to see the behaviors of certain types of people and shit. And Quasi Luminous started the whole Blood Over Intent. And to me, it was scary, and it was something I would never be caught dead doing Blood Over Intent and shit, because to me it looks like black magic. It feels like it's you literally cut yourself and spill your blood over words that you wrote on a thing, and you cast a spell and you use your blood as the fucking black magic potion to incantate your selfish materialistic wishes that you wrote down, into the world and shit. It's satanic, okay? I like this channel. All the other shit that he was talking about was interesting. I'm not going to say it was legit, but it was definitely very interesting. It definitely stirred a lot of thoughts. And then he had to throw in his whole Blood Over Intent thing, in there. And it grew and grew and grew. And eventually I was looking at Marmar Queen because of the controversy where she had felt the need to fucking get all this attention at the Flat Earth Conference and do the whole, Christian bashing thing and getting in an argument with the Christian pastor guy and claiming that she was Muslim, even though she's not Muslim and she's actually a tree hugger. And so then eventually there was this Lucy Lemons who had interviewed her, and it was like, oh God. And then you go to that channel, and then you see that Lucy Lemons had been at a mixer with Mark Sargent, and it was her claim to fame in some kind of Pasadena, I think it was, in maybe early 2017, maybe late 2016, and I guess somewhere near that area where all these people live that I'm talking about. And so that was her claim to fame, and then she was on other Flat Earth videos and stuff with people and stuff, and her channel's not exploded yet, which kind of makes sense because she doesn't really have much content. She just, she doesn't do like what I do. She doesn't produce videos. She doesn't, sit down and talk for extended periods of time about anything of any significance. But you can't really haterize on someone too much. I mean, she has the confidence to come out and have a channel. It's just that she's thoroughly fucking deceived, and she's one of these people that's sucked into the whole GPV worship, and saying that Mother Earth is the creator, and that Gaia and the mother material, world is God, basically. And it's just tree hugging shit, and it's all satanic. It's all against the creator, who's outside of time, space, and matter, the real creator. Okay. Outside of it, but yet at the same time in complete control of all of it. Maybe not outside of it, but within it and outside of it, and transcendent of things like materials, things like matter, excuse me, and time and space and shit like that. That's what the real creator is all about. But this group of people, including Lucy, were just total GPV, total man hate. And then I saw another panel of women who were associated with Patricia. So I was just watching all of it, and their panel devolved into this whole thing about, basically men are useless and women are goddesses. And, oh, that's right, men have their fair spot too, and shit, and all this crap. It's just very, very demonic to me. Something that really, really triggered me hard. I'll admit it. But, I'm not going to sit here and man, it's raining real fucking hard outside my house. It's kind of scary. Kind of came out of nowhere just now, and it's really, 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 really loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but O'Connor. Wow, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Kitty Loves Kale has joined us. Kitty Loves Kale says, they say we are holographs and our real bodies are sleeping above, but there are only 144,000 bodies. Okay. That's like a sci-fi twist on the Hebrew Bible and the story of the Israelites and all that stuff, and the story of Revelation and the end of the Christian Bible. But Rob S says VB looks like a floating head. Anyways, blood over intent. Following all these different people around on the internet and see what they're saying, just so I could have something to hate, because VB's a fucking hater. I'll admit it, man. You guys know it. It's dark. You're torn on VB. Do you like the nice VB, or do you like the fucking asshole VB? Which one do you like better? Because there's definitely two of them. There's the sentimental, heartfelt, highly honored to have people like Jed Skeptic Media on as a guest version of Validation Boy. And then there's the side of Validation Boy that tears holes through fucking people's faces and shit with their own words and their own actions, and just judges like a prick. Which one do you like better? You know what I'm saying? And do I even fucking care? And which one are you talking to right now? The dementia of it all, right? So anyways. Yeah, Morgan Only says, of course women would be attracted to GPV worshippers due to their narcissistic nature. Exactly. It's biological too. Like the narcissism, it's biological. It's inherent in their genes. It's not even like I've abandoned the whole thing about it's cultural and shit. Yeah, culture reinforces it and everything, and we build our entire society around the throne of the GPV. But whatever. So anyway, so they're intermingling this whole blood over intent and GPV worship thing. I'm like, wait a second. I'm not going to let people run around saying that vagina is the creator. Okay? I'm not going to let that happen. Give me a fucking break. That's sacrilege, if you will, right? So I started saying shit, So I came out with a live stream. I trashed this fucking live hangout of all women, and they got the video knocked down and everything. And then YouTube lifted the ban and brought the video, gave it right back to me, and I put it right back up. And, it's ugly out there. And I'm just trying to break this down for you guys, So it's all coming from memory. So I realized then, at some point that the blood over intent scene, because of some of the things that people were saying, like on a Lucy Lemonsss video, and then you go to someone else that's in the sidebar, that's another blood over intent person. You watch their video, and it's some dude or it's some girl. You never know what you're going to get sometimes because you can't see the thumbnail. You just see a blood and shit on paper. And you see all these people, you know, and they're all doing this. And then I start realizing that it sounds like a fucking suicide cult, right? Doesn't it? It sounds like, not a suicide cult, but it sounds like a black magic death worship cult or something. Some occult shit. Everyone doing this blood and shit, and then black magic, you know, and seances and fucking incantations and spell binding and shit, spell casting, if you will, and then putting it on the internet and then like linking all their videos together. So, you know, I said some comments to Muff Muff and to Lucy and to Paradise and to you name it, all this group. But I never really confronted Quasi Luminous because the thing is, Quasi Luminous actually had been subscribed to me. It might even be probably is still subscribed to me right now. And he probably won't like it that I'm just outright. I'm not going to come out and say that he's, you know, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm going to fucking say, actually. But Quasi Luminous has been there with me for a long time as a subscriber. Eventually, when Quasi Luminous channel was either taken down or he took it down, whatever happened, he reemerged, and his new channel is named Satan, and he has like Baphomet and shit as his thing. And so it's like, whoa, dude. And the thing is that with that guy, he says that everything is inverted. Okay, now this shit gets scary. He's saying that everything is inverted and that Jesus is Satan. Okay, he's saying that all gods that are worshipped by any human being or whatever are all Satan. There's no way to worship God above that and stuff like that. He just says this stuff, and it's just, you know, I can't get down with that, bro. I can't get down with this complete and utter fucking inversion. You know, I can't get down with that. So, seeing as how, you know, Lucy Lemons always comes out. I hate to talk about her this much, but this is what it has come to. This is very somber, very somber. But this is what it's come to. I would never really like to discuss a person this much, especially that person this much. But the thing is, okay, she's always used to, or not used, she always comes out every once in a while with videos on my work is slavery. And then she blabs for like 5 minutes about how life sucks and this, that, and the other. Whatever, you know, you skip through it, you just get the gist of what people are saying and stuff. And like, so when you're over time, okay, so I don't look all the time because I'm not subscribed. So I go look today, and there's a video from 5-6 days ago, and this girl is sitting there, she's crying, and she's talking about how, yep, we're all gonna leave, and then people are like, we're with you, we're all going, it's May 1st. And then she's crying, and she's like, we're going to leave. And there's not talking about where she's going to. So I think that it's possible that Quasi-Luminous, I'm not trying to slander anybody, but it's a possibility. And what it looks like right now is there's a possibility. I'm not claiming this as fact at all, and I'm not making any factual assertions. It looks to me as though there's a possibility there might be a fucking suicide cult, fucking Jim Jones thing set up for May 1st. With some blood over intent people. A literal fucking suicide cult. And is Quasi-Luminous, now known as Satan, in charge of this? I'm going to link the video to her below, crying, talking about, we're all leaving. I can't believe we're going to do it. We're finally going to do it. Here comes the day and all this shit. So, whoa, do police need to be called and shit? I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. Very fucking somber. Y'all need, okay, I'm going to link it below. But y'all need to check it out and tell me what you think. The black magic. Give praise to the creator, guys. This is too exhausting. I have to take a break. I'm exhausted by this topic. I'm so sad. There's like a damn hurricane outside my fucking house. The fuck, man? The fucked up thing is that there's this tree that got busted up in a big hurricane that came through last year. And it's kind of hanging over our house. And any day now, it's just going to just crack. And it's just basically going to crush the entire fucking right side of the house. Like, just going to smash straight through the roof and just go straight through the floor and shit. Crush everything. We're talking like major tonnage. It's like a it's like an 80-year-old oak tree. It's massive. It's like 3 times the size of our house. One of its branches could take out half of the house. Let's just say that. And it's going to happen unless this fucking neighbor gets the shit taken down like she needs to. Anyways, if you hear snap, crackle, and pop and you see me run, it's because there's a tree busting its way through my fucking roof. Jed's out there talking about these women, VB, the GPV are trying to confuse us. Well, you know, you got to get rid of that gold plating, you know, rip it off, throw battery acid on it, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Stop seeing it that way. Stop saying it that way. Cathexis has joined us. Awesome, man. I want to put together a fucking panel, but you guys don't like me no more, man. You guys don't want to talk anymore, man. Validation Boy is too fucking extreme for you guys, huh? Isn't that right? Jed will come in. I know Jed, not right now, but I know Jed would come in if it was scheduled proper. I'm really scared right now, guys. What a somber episode. All right. So, yeah, I guess also, you know, this week everyone was scared that World War III had actually started and shit. But, you know, I'm sitting here in my Floridian Orlando suburban fucking home, live streaming on YouTube. So I don't know. World War III hasn't hit my front door yet. But I know people out there are concerned and shit. But see, that's why I don't even bother with that government shit. That government shit's all fake, man. They got this shit on lock. They don't want to have an economic collapse, okay? It's the last thing in the world they would ever want to do to the Western nations. Productivity would fucking sink. And that's the last thing they want. So... that's about all I got to say about that bullshit. All right. Now, Tinfoil Hatter says, yeah, it's a silent war, a silent genocide by slow poisoning. Maybe the poisoning is just really meant to alter us. They don't want us dead. They just want us altered, changed. You know, they definitely want us worshiping at the fucking throne of the GPV. That's for damn sure. But regardless of all that, you know, I ask myself sometimes, like, you know, I was talking earlier about which VB do you like better? Which validation boy do you like better? David Sawyer says, it's coming. Mass murder and population control is the agenda. I don't know. I'm not in the mood to talk about that at the moment. But thank you very much, David Sawyer, for joining us and contributing and participating in the most dynamic live stream, flat earth-oriented YouTube live chat in all of history. Validation Boy live stream, the most dynamic. But, damn. Which, you know, I was saying, which one do you like better? You know, and I was thinking about, like, there might be some reasons why I'm a dick, you know? Lanny from Canada says the knuckle cracking VB is my fave. Yeah. You know, it all goes back to your formative years and your friendships. You know, I had a great childhood, you know. I was always an advanced student. I fit in with all the kids. Everything was normal. No problems. Never got bullied. Never really bullied anybody. Sometimes a little bit here and there, but, you know, that's life. It's a good kid, you know. And fucking, well, not necessarily a good kid, but I don't know, whatever. And then got into my teenage years. Thing is, I had met my first real best friend, you know, on the first day of fucking first grade. on the bus. And he lived at the next stop over. For first graders, we didn't know of each other's existence until that day. And we're best buddies for many decades after that. It's kind of crazy. But, well, I don't know about many decades, but decades. And eventually we formed a band. We had a little thrash metal band, you know. And hold on a second. I'll be right back. 5 seconds. I got to check on something. Okay. Red Pill University, who joined us as Plutonic recently on a show, says, "Did you know that Florida is the 45th lowest IQ state?" Oh, I believe it. Ozzy, and then Landy from Canada says, "Ozzy also said Satan's sitting here. He's smiling." You know, it's possible that Ozzy Osbourne might be female to male transgender. It's possible. I've seen a great transvestigation on that. Very interesting idea. Ozzy Osbourne, very high-pitched singer. Phenomenally high-pitched singer. Very strange. Very strange for a male singer to have such range. But anyways, you know, we had our little thrash band, and I was over on the bass guitar. By default, I had originally had drums, and me and my buddy, let's call him Rico Suave. Let's call him Rico Suave. He had a guitar, and I had some drums, and just me and him really started it all. And it's story time, motherfuck faces. It's story time. You're gonna get a fucking Validation Boy history lesson, okay? You're gonna get a little peek, okay? We had our shit together. We were rocking out, covering little Metallica songs, you know, Slayer riffs and shit, whatever we could, you know, DRI songs, whatever we can get our fucking hands on and learn how to play. Fucking just try to, you know, we just do it. We do our little rip-off renditions of everything. Start fucking around with our friends and shit, whatever. And then there was this guy, and then we'll call him Chucky. Okay, we'll call him Chucky. And Rico and Chucky were on like a team together, some sport that they played. So they had this, you know, this friendship that I really had nothing to do with because I wasn't involved in that shit. And after a year or two of me and Rico rocking out and shit, turns out, and I was on drums, you know, turns out Mr. Chucky's in town and he wants to play drums in our band. So that means I had to go on the bass. And I actually was like, okay, actually that sounds kind of cool because it was a very unique instrument. And from then on, I loved the bass guitar. And that's the thing that I do probably the best out of all the instruments that I can play. Bass is probably my favorite. But so, and we're young. We're like 12. We're like 12 years old at this point. But we were writing our own songs, consistent songs with lyrics and riffs and patterns. And we would like practice them over and over. We're very constructive. We were like way, way, way the fuck ahead of our years musically. And eventually, there was a time where our parents, my fucking mother, drove us to this fucking open mic night at a fucking bar. You know, a full-on Sunday night open mic night at a bar. where this like cover band would play all night, and they had like super long hair and fucking they were like an 80s cheese dick cover band from hell. And they were really fucking good though, you know, you got to give it to them. But they had all the fucking trimmings, all the fixings, all this electronic equipment, all these fucking, you know, expensive fucking guitars and drums and shit. Flashy everything, you know. And they would play all night. They would play for like 8 hours, you know, but they would take like a couple hour break here and there or whatever. But over the course of 8 hours, they were fucking playing all night. And then in the breaks, they would let people come up and either do a guitar solo or, you know, come up there and sing, but sing while the band plays, you know, some bullshit like that. But we had our own guitars and stuff, and they said, just use our drums, you know, and they couldn't believe it that these kids were going to get up on the stage. And we got up on the stage and we did 3 of our own original songs, which were like high speed fucking thrash metal, you know, punk rock thrash music that sounded akin to fucking DRI or, you know, you know, Uniform Choice or Minor Threat, maybe, you know, bands like that. That's how we sounded. Little, you know, punk, but like heavier because we liked metal too. So, you know, we didn't just sound like a nasty little garage punk band. We would try to integrate like metal riffs and we all tight and have like pauses and shit and like, you know, like multi-hit pauses and all this shit. We were badass. We're fucking 12 years old. And we're sitting here writing like Anthrax riffs and shit, you know, and fucking executing and shit. You know, we tore it up. And we were all buddies, you know. But all along, Chucky never liked VB. He never liked VB. But him and Rico, they were buddies till the end and shit, you know. They were best bros and shit. And I never minded. I was never jealous of it or anything. I just didn't care because I knew that they had a bond in the sports that they played together that I would never have with my friend, who I'm, you know, lifelong fucking bestie and shit. First day of first grade, and we sat on the thing together. I live there. You be my friend, and we played like Transformers and shit, G.I. Joe, Transformer and shit, you know. And then eventually we started doing break dancing in our little preteen years. We're funny. We're all into breaking electric boogaloo and shit, and we'd break dancing and stuff, you know. And then eventually we started playing music together. So eventually, Rico and Chucky joined the school band, which I wanted nothing to do with because to this day, I still don't even know how to read sheet music. But I have perfect pitch and I've constructed albums and albums worth of music and I've played tours in Europe, I've toured the United States. I have over 100 songs that I've written in my life, top to bottom. I wrote parts for like, you know, horn sections and shit in bands and stuff like that. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. I'm just like, music it's just in me. And I can't officially read music, but I know every single note. And I know that, oh, that's an A sharp and it works in a chord with a C sharp, you know, and an F to get like a B flat minor. That's what you'd get, you know, shit like that. I know all that shit, but I just can't physically read it because I don't need to. I have perfect pitch and I have like sonic memory perfection or whatever they call it, you know. Or I hear songs and I can tell you what key it is. I can tell you what notes they're hitting. I can tell you what notes the background counter melody is hitting. I can tell you what note the bass is hitting. I can tell you how they got the drum sound that they did. I can tell you how they got the, you know, I know all about this shit. It's nothing. It's like old hat to me and shit. I've been doing this my entire fucking life, basically, ever since I was like 10. That's when I first got my fucking drum set. I started analyzing music and trying to emulate all the music that I heard and trying to copy it and learn from it. And there would be times, man, when I was in fucking school and high school and shit, I would come home straight from school, fuck all my friends, fuck all that shit. I go straight to my guitar. I plug in my fucking badass, you know, whatever guitar I had at the time. And I put on Anthrax albums. And I sit there and I would play along to the album, try to match it note for note. I put on a Metallica album, same thing. Then I put on a fucking Megadeth album, same thing. Then I put on Slayer album, same thing. Then I put, you name it. I just went down to listen. I would sit there and just mastering the shit over and over until it sounded like I was getting it exactly right. And I was very fucking meticulous to detail. You know, there's people out there that think that they are playing something. They don't know what they're doing. But anyways, so that went on for a while. You know, and then eventually old Chucky, he kept having to move back and forth between parents or something like that. And he would leave and it'd be me and Rico. And then I had another buddy. We'll call him, we'll call him, Call him Torso Man. That's an inside joke that none of you would ever get. You would never understand anything about it. Hold on just a second. So, me and my buddy fucking Torso Man, we were fucking hanging out. And he got me into all this fucking hardcore shit because I was mostly metal before that. I didn't know much about the punk rock and the hardcore, but he knew all about it. And he knew all about the metal. And he knew about old metal that I didn't even know about yet. That predated all the metal that I was into. He's a fucking encyclopedia of musical knowledge, total badass. And he got me into all this shit. And eventually, you know, turns out that in the old band that we had me, Rico, and Chucky, you know, Rico was singing and playing guitar, and Chucky was on the drums, and I was on the bass. But turns out that whole Rico Suave fucking really had a passion for drums. So we started a new band. Thing is, I could play guitar back then after a while too. And so we had Torso Man, who was really a guitarist, full-time guitarist. He jumped in on bass. I went over to guitar and lead vocals. And then old Rico Suave went back on the drums. And we had a thrash band that blew anything that we had done before completely out of the water, okay, because of the new drumming abilities. And the new bass player that had added in, and me shifting over to a more song construction role and fronting the show, just the three of us. And we went full out punk, thrash, hardcore, and we were all about precision, execution, timing, rhythm, and perfection. We weren't just sloppy band, just farting our way through songs, dumb kids. No, we get on the stage and we would make eye contact with each other, and we wouldn't even do clicks to start the song. And the drummer would just lift up the sticks and hit the cymbals, and it'd be bang, and we would just start the fucking song. Boom, boom, no sticks. We were that fucking cerebrally fucking locked in. We were like how Rush, that band Rush, the prog rock, you know, like extra fucking just ultra tight precision. That's the approach that we took. We weren't in little fucking scrubs. And all of our contemporaries that we played with, they'd be dudes that were older than us, maybe years older than us, maybe even better known acts and stuff like that. And they'd look at us in awe. They'd be like, oh, these, because at that time we were then, 14, 15, 16. And we've been playing together already. Full band practice whenever the fuck we wanted in the living room at my house. And for years. And we just played all the fucking time until my parents would get home from work. And, you know, they owned their own shit, so they would work late and they'd go out to dinner and do whatever the fuck. And we would just rock the fuck out and practice over. And we had like a good roster of like 25, 30 songs of like hyper speed, you know, kind of like my lower EP, but extended, you know, my lower EP, if you go back and listen to it, that's kind of like what the music was like. And we were doing that shit, you know, 25 years ago. I was doing that kind of shit 25 years ago and playing all kinds of gigs. We play the coffee house every Friday. And then every Saturday we would have a gig somewhere else in the city. And then on Sundays we'd go in and we'd play, and all of it was for free. And, you know, and they'd be like, oh, please come play at the thing. And then everyone knew our shit. Everyone looked up to us. We would just like destroy all the bands. We would destroy everybody. We were so fucking tight. Okay. We dominate. And that's just how I do when I fucking do things. I just dominate like that when I get into my thing. And we would sit there and we would devise strategies on how to coach ourselves to be even fucking more airtight with our fucking hits. We would like, boom, it would drop in. It would like explode and crack your fucking eardrums open when we drop in out of nowhere. The band, boom, and shit. You don't even understand. And people just looking, and then you fucking, all of a sudden you're thrashing in their face. And everything is just like a deadly assault, and it's executed, and it stops. And then you stab them in the fucking face again, over and over, and then they're just destroyed. And some people fucking love it. Some people cannot get enough of it. And they start thrashing and moshing, and they start making a pit. That's how it was. This is 25 years ago. Sorry, guys. Anyways, those are the good old days. So This is the kind of shit we were into. And it turns out Rico Suave's true love was that drum set. And he was way better than a drummer than Chucky ever could have been. So Chucky came back, and it was all about Chucky, don't you know? Because he was Mr. Overachiever, and he was Mr. You know, I don't know, let's just say Napoleon complex, because he was unfortunately uh, disadvantaged in the height department. Okay, so he had a Napoleon complex, so he had to be number one, right? He had to project number one, but I don't know if he was number one, but he had to project it. So, good old Chucky. It's all about him. And Rico with his strange worship of Chucky, even though me, Torso Man, and Rico had been fucking tearing it up and just reaping all the benefits and all the glory of just being known as the fucking badass dudes who have this band that's so fucking tight and so badass, and everyone knows all the fucking words, and everyone knows, like, and they like would mosh to our fucking music because they know the riffs, and they would like stop, and then everyone would like scream when we scream, and then fucking dive in the pit and shit, like crazy loyal hardcore scene in Orlando like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. It was just nasty back then. There was a actual community. It was fucking badass, and all the good bands that would come from anywhere that would all come through in our town. And it would be one of the venues that we had control of. Me and my, not really me, but the people I associated with, they had control of this like range of venues. It was just awesome. It was the good old days and shit. But anyways, um, so old Chucky comes back in town, and decides that he loves the Mighty Boss Tones, and that he wants to have a band, you know, that's like that kind of music and stuff. And so then, since they're in the school band together, that's the new project, and all energy gets focused on that. And it kind of worked out in a way because it was a group of friends that we had hung out with anyways. And it ended up being a really large group. And it was all part of our circle of extended friends. And these are the people that I was doing music with all along. And I was like, yeah, I guess we could try that out. I didn't really care that much. Um, you know, but we also had other things going at the same time. So it wasn't just at first there was other things going, but eventually all the energy got focused on that. And it turns out that we end up getting really popular and having a lot of success. And then it gets turned into a business, and Chucky has to turn it into a business and takes all the fun out of it. And eventually, for whatever reason, high school, college years, age fucking egomaniacs in a band together, shit happens, worlds collide. And I ended up leaving the fucking band. And then coming back a couple times, leaving it, all that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But that's the band that I eventually went on tour with and shit. My fucking daddy hated it. He hated it though when we would fucking practice at my house because all these fuckers would always constantly steal shit, like food and shit. They wouldn't steal stuff, but they would steal all the fucking food and shit. But my mom fucking loved it. And all along, I was a fucking team player because I was just the bass player in the back. But the thing is that I was I was the best musician. I was the one with the most knowledge, and I was the one writing parts for everybody and telling everybody how to do it. And the people that were taking the direction didn't mind it at all. But the other guys who were more on the rock and roll side of things in the band that I've been playing with, um, they just didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that I was so knowledgeable, you know. So they would just try me, and they would just be dickheads and shit, and they would just like socially prank me and shit like that. Try to embarrass me in front of people and stuff like that when we first meet them and stuff like that. Just whatever dumb shit. Um, hold on a second. And eventually it forced me to leave. But this is crazy because this is a group of dudes that I fucking drove across the country in a van with, you know, a van and a car, or a van and two cars. Yeah, little caravan that we had going. Drove out to fucking Colorado together. Drove to fucking New York and back, Texas, fucking the Carolinas, fucking Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, fucking tours, dirty tours. You know what I'm saying? Almost near hand to mouth and shit. Brothers. You know what I'm saying? But they always like, eventually they were just jealous of me. And that's what it was. People always do that shit to me. People always do that. And at this point, it doesn't even like upset me anymore. It's actually a compliment. And I learned this the hard way. You know, when people do this kinds of shit to you, when there's like, all of a sudden everyone gets in this group mentality. They get in some kind of weird group mentality where now you're the one that they're all going to focus on. And it's out of nowhere and shit. And they just try to make your life hell. You know what I'm saying? And there has to be someone that is the joker or the butt of the joke or the one that gets bullied. But for some reason, just by default, I don't know what the deal was. But they tried to make it me. And whenever they did, you know, there was a time when all right, so my dad had just fucking passed away and we're on the fucking road. And this motherfucker, two different fucking times. One fucking time, my dad had passed away. I was all fucked up in the mind and we're on the road and I'm sitting there and I can't sleep. And then so I'm asleep one day in the van and it's time to like get up to do something. And I was sleeping. I was finally fucking able to fucking sleep because like I would stay up in the shotgun all night with whoever was driving or I myself would drive because I wasn't sleeping at night. So I was just getting some sleep in the daytime and fucking I wake up and one of these motherfuckers is just screaming in my ear. Screaming at the top of his fucking lungs into my ear. And ever since then, I've had like some kind of hearing damage in that fucking ear. All because some young dumbasses just want to like, the fuck are you doing, dude? And it's just odd, you know? And I know there was no real reason behind them as a group, you know, like defaulting and taking their aggression out with me, but I guess it was because of the fact that I was so confident with myself and so emotionally ahead of them in years. You know, like I'd always have to step in and settle things between them when they would fight with each other and shit. They're just dumb little cuck boys and shit. And I was just advanced. But I was their same age, but they kind of like looked up to me. I don't know, man. It was just really fucking weird dynamic and shit. That's why I've never really had that many friends. Right now I'm like a complete isolationist with me and my woman. Barely have any kind of interaction with anybody on the outside, if possible, you know. It's not because I don't like people. It's just because, you know, I just don't want to get in anybody's way out there and shit, you know, like I don't want people in my way and shit. But anyways, yeah, it didn't really make any sense other than that it was coming from that they were just taking their aggression out on me because I was this thing that triggered them. And every time they had deep thoughts and shit, you know, they would think of me or something I had said to them, you know, and fucking, it was just their way of fucking feeling better about themselves. But you know, they're kids, and I was a kid too. You know. Yeah, Chucky. I had to fucking make notes from memory because we're talking about 25 years ago, and I'm just trying to be introspective and think about why the way I am towards people socially at this time now. It all goes back to this like this saga that I lived through with this group of fucking friends and shit. I mean, it's like the formative years, you know, the formative years, and kind of like define your outlook that you're going to use moving forward when it comes to people and shit, you know, these high school and college years. Well, I wasn't really in college all that much. I did some college, but, you know, it wasn't like college, you know, years and shit, but those ages, you know, those years. Yeah, this motherfucker. Okay, so overachiever type, you know, he ended up, we had a couple of friends that were like big time fans of the whole thrash stuff we had done before. Me, Chucky, and Rico Suave, our first little band. They were fans of that, loyalists from day one. And then they lived through all the other incarnations and all the different things. And then, so when it came time for the new band, Chucky's new big project, to do merchandise, this guy happened to have a table and a screen press and all this shit. He had all this stuff, and he fucking would make the shit. He would make the shirts and stuff and all kinds of stuff. It was badass, but we had to pay for it, and it all worked out. But eventually, it came to the point where Mr. Chucky ended up like stealing the guy's shit, like his equipment, some way or another. Like it ended up in some warehouse, and he had it, and then it got transported somewhere else, and then there was like money owed on some other debt or some bullshit, and it all got basically Chucky just fucking straight up fucking jacked this dude's shit and started making the shit himself. And then he ended up keeping all. Then we started getting paid for gigs because he turned it into a business. But he would keep all the money. Say it was for the merchandise. But then everybody would be like, it was just bullshit. It was just bullshit. And this is fun looking back. But eventually he married this fucking. Oh, I'm not even gonna go there, man. But he married the dumbest fucking cunt ever. Okay. Who I could tell you stories, man. Stories of rumors that I heard, but no, I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, while we were in Europe, my bass guitar got stolen. And I know these motherfuckers had something to do with it and shit. Just trolling. I don't know. I wasn't really all that loving of a friend too often, but at the same time, I really was. I was always there for those fuck faces. But I had a little bit of a fucking comical attitude, and I was flexing my fucking alphaness. What do you want me to do? Sit there and be a sub out to fucking Chucky? I don't think so. That's why Chucky never liked VB, because I never fucking took a back seat. Because in Chucky's world, it's all about Chucky, and it was the Chucky show. But in the end, it ended up being where it was like on the stage, because of the way the band was set up. Chucky had one half of the front stage, and I had the other half. I was the damn bass player. But in that music, the bass was a really big part of the sound. Real important, real big part of the sound. And I did a lot of work on the bass. A lot of running up and down. Shit. Awesome times. But yeah. So when we were younger, and me and Rico Suave and Torso Man had that real super tight thrash band. Well, we recorded in the studio in another county in Florida. And needless to say, Chucky and everybody else, we all eventually went back to that studio with the new project, the big project. Many, many times. Eventually, that studio was reformatting to a new format, and they were using the old shit, which is called a DAT tape, a DAT tape. And they were getting rid of them all. And they called up, Chucky, because he was the one who had the contact really directly with the studio guy. And said, well, we got to move these tapes. It's either going in the trash or you come get it. You guys come get it. And he's like, oh, okay. So he goes and gets it. He wasn't even in the fucking band. And he didn't tell anybody about it, except he told Rico Suave, who was the drummer in the band. So they had the tapes. Never had access to them again. And I was the singer, guitarist, and 80%, 60% primary songwriter of all the shit. And the frontman, singer, guitarist in a 3-man band. Okay? And he just took my shit. And then years later, after not speaking with these fuckfaces for a long time, eventually got back involved with them again. And I kept asking old Chucky, why don't you give me a fucking copy of my shit? But I said it real nice, obviously, because it was my shit, And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. And I asked him for a good year. Never got it. So the guy's a fucking scumbag. You know what I'm saying? Scumbag. Probably fucking tried to copyright the shit and say he owns it or something shit like that. Knowing him. He's a cuck boy. And I know he would do something like that. And that's why it's no problem that I never see that little fuck again. You know what I'm saying? But anyways. All right, let me see what else I had to fucking remind myself of, Oh, yeah. So in the big project, after this time, after leaving, they ended up writing a song about me. Now you got to understand, this band was successful, and we would sell out the Hard Rock Live in our town and in the one in Tampa. We would sell it out. We would max capacity. We would break records for a local band or for any really. I mean, well, for a local show, we would break the records of occupancy because they wouldn't open up the top, like they would. But the ground area of the thing was just a swarming sea, like a huge concert every time we played. And we're fucking popular, and people crowd surfing, knowing all the words to all our songs. People want us to sign shit at the fucking merchandise table and shit like that. Yeah, stupid. We went on the Warped Tour and shit. Yeah. So eventually the fuck faces wrote a song about me. Old Chucky wrote a fucking song about me and shit. After all this shit. And then I'm at a concert, and it was like a multi-band local concert. And it was like a year or almost a year after I had left and all the whatever had happened at that time. And it was all boiled over, and everyone else except for me, Rico, and Chucky was cool. Everybody else, I was cool with everybody else except for them too. And Thumbs. There was another guy named Thumbs. Thumbs. Who was also never cool with me. But it was all part of the Chucky Club. Thing is that the other guys, they knew what was up. They knew that the band sucked, and it was no fun without me there writing the songs. So them years, and then when I would come back later on, whatever time it was, they were like, "Oh, thank God you're back." All the bass players that we had to use in the meantime, they just sucked. They didn't do the bass lines the right way. It made all the fucking riffs sound horrible. All of our parts sounded off because the bass player was just junking it up, and he didn't have the respect to learn your actual bass lines that were part of it was the construction, it was the beef, it was the heart of the soul of the fucking melody of the songs. And the singing like matched on top of it and everything. Like it was, it was the real deal, and no one could do what I did, I guess, and or didn't bother to even try. I mean, I know it was badass shit, but they didn't even bother to try. And so these guys would be like, "Oh, thank God you're back," and shit. "Oh, we miss you so much," and shit. Just fucking whatever. But then there was the Chucky Club, and so they wrote this fucking song about me. And then I'm standing there in the crowd, and I never said a damn thing. And they were playing, they were like the second or third to last band. And then there was another slightly bigger band, or maybe a national act that was actually there, or a semi-national indie act that was going on after. And, but it was like not all day, well, a mini band thing. It was like, there was like 5 full bands. It wasn't just like quick opening band, middle band, and then big show. No, it was like a series. It was a Sunday all day local band thing. And they're up there, and the house is packed again. And and no, we would sell out the place when we were the headline act. So no, don't think that I'm sitting here getting it confused. But anyways, I'm sitting there, and I'm with my friend, or whoever I'm with, and I'm just casually chilling, just in the back, just hanging out. I think at the time I was probably drinking, so I was probably fucking stoned and fucking having a drink and shit at the time. I'm just like sitting in the back. I'm not saying anything. The band's on this huge stage, and there's hundreds of people in between the band and me, and I'm over in the crowd somewhere, like casually watching. And all of a sudden, I was in a new band out in another city actually at this time, and we went and watched them. And my friends from my new band out in the other city, way out on the coast, were like, "Oh, you didn't know this song's about you?" Because I didn't know their new album. I didn't give a fuck, because I was working on my new band and shit. I was making all kind of new music with my other new band out in the fucking east side and shit. And the guitarist, he's like, "Hey, this song's about you. You know that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, dude, this song is about you." I was like, "What?" And then all of a sudden, fucking Chucky is on stage, and he gets on the little microphone, and he fucking starts calling me out in the crowd. I'm just standing in the crowd, just like hanging out, not trying to get in anybody's business, not stirring up anything, not saying, just with my little new group of friends, my little buddies who also we all knew from the big band and everything. We all toured together and did little mini tours around the South together. And then so then their band had problems, and then I wasn't in this band, so I kind of like just joined their band and shit, whatever. And just chilling, just totally peaceful. Never had any kind of like fight drama, And the motherfuck face is up there on the stage with his microphone and all these 100 people trying to punk me and embarrass me and shit. And then people are like looking at me because tons of fucking people know exactly who I was, because I've been on the stage in the sold out fucking, Volcom stage and the Warped Tour and all the locals with the beach balls and shit and the madness of it all. Everyone knows who the fuck I was, and he's just sitting there trying to punk me. It's like, damn, man, you're a little bitch, bro. Like, this guy had such issues with me, man. Such issues with me. It just turns out in the end, it's just sometimes you're just better. Sometimes you really are the alpha and they're the beta, and they just want to project that alpha, and they're just jealous, And in the end, he's got his successful business, and I guess his wife is allegedly quite successful and travels to Europe quite often and all this shit without him for some strange reason, weird shit, girl trips and shit. But that's how shit worked out, and it just for a while, I would say 15 years ago, there was probably a time when I was like 10 years in the past then, and me being retrospective at that time saying, damn, I miss those guys. I should at least, but as time goes on further and further, and those people slip farther and farther and farther and farther away from my life, they're into an infinite void, an infinite abyss away from me already. I wouldn't even know how to contact any of those people. It's just better that way. But they were my best friends growing up in those formative friendship years. They really were. And it's just way better that they're just fucking long gone. It's a lot to say, but it's rough. Yeah, man. Wow. Okay, so I'll tell you the story of the final time that I interacted with these guys. Shit had boiled over. It was like what, 05? It's about 05. I wasn't doing anything musically anymore. Somehow they got in contact with me. Oh, Rico Suave got in contact with me. And it was about spiritual stuff, because I told you guys this story before where, there was these people that were coming to my house, these like Mormons or whatever the fuck, they sent these people. And, but then he started coming around too and be like, don't listen to them fucking people, here's the Bible and stuff. And we started hanging out again. It turned out that their new band, yet another small Chucky project, which was trying to emulate the old days of what me, Rico, and Torso Man had done. It was trying to emulate that, but they were slagged because of two of the members in their band. And they had Thumbs in the band, and Thumbs had to leave, and they were looking for a bass player. And oh, here comes old VB getting courted. So I get courted back into the band. And now we're doing another tour up the East Coast and shit like that. We go to a studio up in North Carolina or South Carolina. And the studio belonged to a guy who was the sound man for Bruce Springsteen at some point on some of his tours. He was a sound man for the boss, Bruce Springsteen, singer of many American rock and roll hits from the 80s and 90s. And owned a studio in his house. He had this badass fucking house. And we went up there, and the whole time I was there, they were just trying to be dicks to me for no reason. And I hadn't even hung around them for years, and they were all just like accusatory, assumptive about all kinds of things. They didn't realize that I had at that point been a couple years in of not drinking any alcohol anymore at all since years and shit. And they didn't realize that. So they were all assumptive and shit. They thought I was like wasted and shit. like I, but see, the thing is, I used to get wasted around them guys after a while because we got to that age eventually. And of course, we were all getting fucked up, but they were just such fucking dick faces sometimes, that I would just fucking get wasted. Fucking screw you guys, especially when we're in the middle of fucking Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's like 26 degrees outside. And we kind of may be able to stay in this one dude's dorm room floor and shit, all 9 of us. You know what I'm saying? If he can sneak us in, kind of situation. Or we're going to go to my friend's uncle's shit, but they're cool. His aunt and his uncle, they're cool. And they got a room and we sleep on their floor and shit like that. Weird shit, And so you get drunk, you're not driving. But anyways, so in the process of me being courted back into their new project to replace Mr. Thumbs, and only Torso Man's going to get the joke, Thumbs. Oh, man. But, old Rico Suave, okay, had a girlfriend. She was very nice, and when his girlfriend was there all the time because Chucky and Thumbs and Chucky's future wife and old Rico Suave and old manager. There was a manager guy too. They all lived in a house, and so Rico's Suave's fucking girlfriend would stay there quite often. She would also have to go home because she still lived with her parents, college age years and all that stuff. And there was this other girl that was always hanging around and shit. And I was like, oh, hey, Rico, what are you doing, bro? You messing around like that? Because this girl was always hanging around and they were always kind of next to each other and all that shit. They never did nothing. They never did nothing in front of me, that's for sure. And he said, no, dude, this is his, Rico's girlfriend, actual girlfriend. He's like, no, this is her best friend. They're totally fucking cool. They hang out all the time. We all hang out all the time. She's cool as fuck, dude. Everybody knows her. I was like, oh, no big deal. So me, Rico's girlfriend, we fucking end up getting involved with this church because he was telling me about the Bible and stuff, We ended up getting involved with this Bible study group, let's just say. And often, old Rico Suave, even though he had brought his girlfriend in his car to the Bible study every Sunday and stuff like that, and Friday night and stuff like that, would mysteriously start ditching out and leaving her there. Leaving her there and shit. And she was friends with the people, she was friends and stuff. But it was just kind of weird. And then one day she I was friends with this whole group of people now, Bible study, and we would just hang out and talk, and I just smoked cigarettes sometimes, even though it was frowned upon. And I talked with this one dude, or Rico's brother-in-law, talking and stuff. And old Rico Suave's girlfriend is there, and she, kind of pulled me to the side, not really the side, but just, whose car was that was out front of their house? It's out there all the time. I was like, oh, that's your little friend. What's her face? Who? Your little bestie. You and Tito's little bestie. Who? And shit. Whoa. I was like, well, I don't know. I'm out of here. That's all, And then from that, old Rico Suave. Oh, out for BB now. Oh, you sold me out, bro. What? You told me this when I asked you. I never said a damn thing to your little girlfriend. Your girlfriend went by your house and saw you being the cuck that you are for yet more GPV. Can't get enough. Okay. And then came to your lifelong best friend, basically crying her eyes out and shit. Essentially about to, because she had her fucking suspicion. Whose fucking car was that? And described the car. And all I said was, that's, as far as I know, that's your best friend, isn't it? Don't you know that that's your own best? I don't know who the fuck that person is or who owns that car. I don't have no best friend who owns no car. I'm like, whoa. Then someone really pulled like a big fucking wool over my eyes. And then, like, you could have just told me. And then I shamefully may have had your back. I mean, deception and shit. But, bros before hoes when you're like 25 and shit, 22. I don't know how the fuck old we were. 20. Whatever, all that bullshit. Okay, whatever. But maybe you should have told me instead of when I came to you saying, "What are you doing, bro?" And then you just blah 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 bullshit at me, and then like had your new little girly join in the bullshittery and the fucking gaslighting and shit of the whole thing. And I thought nothing of it. And I thought, oh, okay. And then I get approached. I'm like, oh yeah, nothing of it. Oh no. And then hearts are broken, fucking betrayal, knife in the back. So I go to pick up my equipment and old Rico Suave is out there. And it's this big fucking amp. And I'm about to just put it in myself. And the motherfucker lifts it up and throws it into my car and almost cracks my window. And then he like shoves me and shit. And we've been fucking friends since the first day of first grade. And we never got any kind of physical altercation. Never. And here we are. And I just got played. I just got played. And then now you're trying to punk me. And it was just too emotional. I couldn't even like, it was like a brother or a dad just out of nowhere punching you in the face. I didn't get punched in the face, but that's what it felt like. It was just like, damn, what? Like beyond comprehension. Not even like mad or hurt or scared or anything like that, but more like, wait, what? What just happened? And I was like really emotional. I was like, man, fuck, dude. And I just fucking left and shit. Never saw him again, ever. Except for in like 2012. I was at another group that I also was in, which I omitted from that entire story because it's just way too fucking involved. But another group, I was watching their reunion show essentially because they had broken up for years and had a reunion show. And Rico Suave showed up out of nowhere. And I was with my woman now. This is, we were like a year or two into our relationship and already living together at that point, I believe. And out at our, friends, a band that I used to be in, reunion show, it was like pointless for me to be in it because they were just doing, this album that they had recorded long after I had left, years after I had left. They recorded this other album and then broke up for several years and then had this reunion show and played basically that album. So, and I was there and it was one of my best friends. All of them are my best friends and shit, really. And I was just there and old Rico Suave showed up and he didn't know what to say and he saw me there. And there was just like 20 people there in this crowd, and it was kind of like half outdoor, And he walked up and we kind of shook hands. He shook hands with my friend who I was with, and then I was standing right there, so he couldn't avoid. So we just kind of looked at each other and shook hands and said, "What's up?" And that's it. Nothing to say to each other. And then there was another time where their little band that they had courted me for. Well, Old Thumbs, after I had been booted from the band now, Old Thumbs came back and fucking they got a chance to open up for one of my favorite bands of all time growing up, DRI. And I was just going to the DRI concert, not knowing that at all. And all of a sudden they're there opening up for DRI. And it's like, whoa, okay. And the funny bit is that when I was in the band, they convinced me to use a song that I had fully written, all the riffs, all the parts, back for the old Torso Man, Rico Suave, Validation Boy, fucking original tight ass thrash band and shit. You know what I'm saying? They convinced me because it was Rico was on drums in this fucking band and shit, and he was like, "Come on, dude," and I was like, "All right, dude, we can do it." And then after I left the band, I didn't know nothing of it, and then so basically the second to last song they play is my fucking song, and old Chucky's singing it and shit. And then they got this fucking scrub who was the manager guy. He was on guitar for this other band and shit. And fucking they sucked, And they're up there opening for DRI using my fucking song. And it's just Chucky and his never-ending Napoleon complex idolization of the wisdom, the musical essence the creativity that is Validation Boy. And I thought about it. What if I was an old man? What if I was 75, 85 years old and I was just rolled up in a park, a wheelchair or something old shit? And then, oh, here comes Chucky in a wheelchair and he has all the riches in the world and I have almost nothing. What does any of it matter all along? Fucking cuck. You fucking cuck. You know, and in the end, my woman and all that my life is now, it all goes back to me meeting that guy on the bus on the first day of first grade. And I haven't talked to him in over a decade now at this point, officially. Yeah, because that was like '08 or something when I saw him. No, what am I talking about? No. Less than a decade. I saw him like 2011, 2012. So I'm lied there. So 6 years. But before seeing someone for a couple seconds in the midst of years and years and years, it's been a decade plus since I really seen the guy or talked to him or anything like that. So it's just funny that because of that guy and how he knew those other guys who had that reunion show and everything, I knew them. And then out of them, there was a friend in that band, and then his girlfriend, her best friend, all that, my woman. Okay. So it's just crazy that my life and everything that has come from it and all my friends and all my associations and everything, not all, well, pretty much, not all, but mostly anyone who I've associated with, at least on a steady level where I've hung out with them for real and they were considered a friend and had like a long, long lineage of history of interactions with them as friends, like it all comes from meeting that one dude that one day on the fucking first day of first grade on the fucking public school bus. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fucking crazy? Either way, I think I'm going to wrap it up. You guys got to be flat earth conservatives. You got to be flat earth dogmatists and realize that if you are a flat earth proponent, you are a flat earth dogmatist, and get over it, because there's no inherent fallacy in dogmatism. And, Timmy did a little video where he was at the Salt Lake and he did drone footage and all this stuff. But like the whole thing was completely obstructed and obfuscated by fucking mountains. So his whole video is like null and void, you know what I'm saying? But it was still really, really entertaining. And I love listening to Timmy. And he did raise several other great points, not everything not necessarily anything I would, agree with or anything like that, but definitely very interesting points. And Timmy is the man. I'm not trying to diss him, but that, his drone footage is kind of disqualified because of the fact that it's obstructed by mountains. But otherwise, great video, Tim. Sorry. I know I just repeated myself like 3 times in a row, guys. Sorry about that. And other than that, I hope that Quasi-Luminous is not setting up a mass suicide Jim Jones thing for May 1st, because it seems like that might be the case. And if anyone's out there listening and you care enough, go inspect the link and, see what the fuck is going on with this content provider that I'm going to link you guys to, and how they're like crying, talking about how they're going to leave and shit. On May 1st with everybody else, and everybody in the comments is saying like, yeah, we're with you, sister. We worship you and all this shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Fucking scary. Scary as fuck. Okay. All right. Unearther, Tinfoil Hatter, 72nd Human, Chapin Roberts, Jed Skeptic Media, David Sawyer, Multi Tom Tom. Are you a concaver now, BB? No. Flat Earth for life. Wow. Rob S. Angel Raven 444. Wow. Chapin Roberts, flat earth asshole, is best bass player of all time. Oh, God, dude. Give me a fucking break, dude. I know you don't really believe that. David Sawyer says, VB, what's with the lamenting on old days of rock? I have the same nostalgic feelings about how me and my cousin and nephew cut a nonchalant jam record that had so much promise as well. I feel ya. Well, yeah, but we weren't nonchalant. We were like balls to the wall. We were like all in. We like scheduled practices. We had songwriting. We had songwriting credits and shit. And like we would like write. I would like tell people what to play on their instrument, and it was involved and shit. And we would like get big shows, and we would open up for all the big national acts. And we got to open up with the Boss Tones one time, and had the singer of the Boss Tones come on stage and sing. We covered their song, and he came on the stage and sang with our singer, with Chucky and shit. And Chucky would hang out in his lowrider with the fucking singer of these big bands. It's just disgusting, man. It's just disgusting. It is lamenting. It's very lamentful. lamented. But you know, I'm not really like, oh, John LeBon was in here at some point. Yeah, John LeBon. Twit BB was in a boy band. That's what Twitwit says. John LeBon. He never conceded. He never responded to the fact that I called him out. John LeBon is actually a flat earther by default now. But yeah, no, as far as this old shit, it's not about the rock and roll. It's not about the music, because the music was actually secondary, because I didn't even like playing the fucking music that I was in the big project, in Chucky's big project. You know, I didn't even like playing that music that much, you know. Sometimes I did, you know, when I had a hand in writing it, but a lot of it, you know, eventually after all the times I had been like booted from the band or left the band and come back, and it was all this other stuff that had been written by Thumbs. Ugh, Thumbs shit was lame, and I wasn't really into it as much. But such is life, you know. And like it's really about the fact that everything's better without them, you know. Anyways, I already said all that. I already got it all. I already got it all out. Got it all off my chest. And that's how life works out, you know. And it's crazy how it all works out, that, you know, you just meet one person one time and it changes your life forever. This has been a hyper retrospective episode of Validation Boy. And I've been quite introspective. I hope introspective enough to please you guys. I'm here to get attention from you guys, yes. Get validation from you? Not really. Not at all. Analyze my name. Think what you will. But I'm also here to entertain you, and I'm also here to inform you. So it's like an even trade. I kind of get a little bit of what I want. You kind of get a little bit of what you want. This is very taxing on me, you know, physically, not physically, but like, you know, I guess emotionally, not necessarily emotionally. It's just that it's exhausting to do this. And once it's all over, you get like a little bit of a rush, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I just did that again. It's going to be like probably publicly episode number 65 of me doing this. And yeah, I don't really like talking about flat earth all that much sometimes, you know, but I think that we're bigger than that now. We're bigger than that. And yeah, I am an artist, and yeah, I am eclectic, and I am eccentric, and I am egotistical, and I am partially narcissistic. And I am aware of the fact that throughout all that, I know that I'm failing, and that I still have to humble myself before the Creator. Okay. And I have to try to do something out there that's right, at least every time I go in the air. And you got to give praise to the Creator. You got to humble yourself to God. And you got to humble yourself to God and thank God for sending Jesus Christ in the flesh to redeem you. Okay? All of it is about your life after your death. You have to humble yourself before our Creator, before God, before the Father. Okay? You can't be running around worshiping that GPV. Okay, the GPV holds a high throne in this world. Very, very high throne. Transcends into the heavens the way that it works in your mind. It might as well be in the heavens, how entrenched it is in our culture and in your existence, in your way of thinking, especially you men. You got to be careful. You can't worship GPV above the Father. It's a serious thing. That globe is an artistic expression and idolatrous worship of the gold-plated vagina. That's all that the globe is. It's a piece of art that's a tribute to the gold-plated vagina. It represents the pregnant belly of Gaia. And it has a white virgin sector down below that you can't access. Right at the bottom of the ball that no one ever is allowed to go to. Okay? That's why it's an artistic, symbolic expression of idolatry, because the globe can't be proven. Okay? The only thing that's left for people like Timmy, you know, for example, Soundly, Slice Barcane, the only thing that's left for them is intangible, alleged celestial objects. But you've heard that before. This is the deepest, darkest corner. I appreciate you guys joining me this whole time. I've had well over 20, 25. I'm at 22 right now. And this has been nothing but fun times. I got really, really hyper retrospective. I got really humble, really fucking self-deprecating, really fucking humiliating and shit. Honestly, telling you the story of how I was kind of how a group of friends attempted to bully me when I was younger, which led to bitter disdain and other events, and how you know, it's all about being an individual, and with that being a conservative, especially with things like the flat Earth. We don't need rock stars. We don't need fame. We don't need TV shows. All right, guys, I say that stuff all the time. I feel like I just have to throw it in there, or else I'm leaving. I'm cutting you guys short, or I'm not giving you what you need. Other than that, though, this has been actually, even though I seem quite somber and some of the subject matter was actually quite alarming and quite scary and horrifying, terrifying and saddening. Other than that, this has been quite fun for me. I know it's crazy. Maybe I'm just a crazy fucking dude. I love you guys for watching. Which VB did you get tonight? Which one was it? Was it a little bit of both? The dementia of it all. This has been Validation Boy Livestream, April 23rd, 2018.